siblings got millions from our dad's will. I got nothing, and at the time, I thought it meant he'd erased me. The lawyer cleared his throat and started reading the will like he was announcing lottery numbers. To Marissa, I leave $2.8 million and the lake house, he said. She gasped and grabbed her husband's arm. To Daniel, I leave $3.4 million and the investment accounts. To Aaron, I leave the condo in Chicago, valued at $1.6 million. My heart started slamming into my ribs because I was up next. I'd lived with Dad, paid his bills, organized his medication, held him upright when the chemo made his legs tremble, slept on the floor next to his bed when he couldn't breathe at night. The room went completely silent. And to my youngest son, Noah, I leave nothing. I let out a shaky, broken laugh that didn't even sound like me. Nothing? I said. Did you skip a page? The statement is complete, the lawyer said calmly. Marissa covered her mouth, pretending to hide shock, but I saw the smile in her eyes. Daniel folded his arms and said, guess Dad finally figured out who the problem child was. Problem child? I'd been his nurse, his assistant, his son in every real sense of the word. Aaron slid a glass of water toward me like I was something fragile. You'll be all right, man. You've always been good at landing on your feet. I stood up before my hands said something my mouth couldn't take back. They called me dramatic, told me I was too emotional, said the money needed responsible people. 2 days later, Marissa showed up at my apartment with a clipboard. Dad's old financial planner needs signatures, she said. You understand all the boring stuff. Be a team player. Be a team player? Yeah, sure. So at first I helped, one signature at a time, one account after another, because I was the only one who actually knew how anything had worked. But as I went through the paperwork, something didn't sit right. Account numbers that no longer existed, properties that had been sold years ago, taxes that hadn't been touched since before Dad got sick. I told myself it was just messy paperwork, until I opened an old email chain. It was between my siblings and the lawyer. Dated 3 months before Dad died. Daniel had typed, he won't last long. Make sure Noah gets nothing in writing. Marissa replied, Dad's too sentimental toward Noah. Say he's unstable. Say he can't be trusted with money. Then the lawyer answered, once the will is signed, it's locked. The air left my lungs. While I had been down the hallway spoon-feeding my dying father, they were planning to erase me. But as the shock faded, something else hit me too. Something colder, something clearer. They didn't just steal an inheritance. They inherited a mess. Because behind those houses, behind that money, were debts. Massive ones. Loans. Liens. Years of unpaid taxes. And I was the only one who knew. My dad had told me one night, his voice barely a whisper, everything looks rich on paper, kid, but it's held together with tape. I stared at the screen. Then I smiled slightly. They thought they'd won, but in reality, they just strapped themselves to a ticking bomb, and I decided to let it explode.